what are the major manuscripts for Hebrew Ben Sira? How are they similar and different from one another? And maybe also kind of say why are they so unique that it was important for you to do this work that you published?
Yes. I first will mention the importance of manuscript B. Not only because of its size, it is the biggest manuscript of 21 folios or leaves, but also because of the beautiful presentation. It is presented in columns. As I said before, the Masada scroll is very important because of its age, as it proves the reliability of the Hebrew text. And manuscript C, ABC, because it is quite an odd manuscript, as it is an anthology. It's not a text that continues, but it has some themes that has been put together in a manuscript. Bijvoorbeeld, for example, shame, which in the Mediterranean world was a very important item.
Right.
All verses, all passages about shame have been put together in manuscript C. Quite recently, in fact in 27, new perspectives were visible after the discovery of a new leaf, D, by Eliezer Shulamat. But I'm not a text critical expert, so I refer to a publication by my colleague Jean-Sébastien Rey from the Lorraine University in Nancy, Metz in France. He has studied it quite intensively, and we have a photo of it. He discovered the interrelation between the manuscripts. He proves that manuscript A, manuscript D, and the marginal notes in manuscript B are from the same family, so to say, whereas manuscript B is from a different order. But reading manuscript B, you can see that there are marginal notes in manuscript B, which means that someone who knew another manuscript, reading manuscript B, have written all differences between what he had in front of him and what was written in manuscript B. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that is.
And there are even Persian glosses, Persian marginal notes in manuscript B. Maybe the one who wrote those notes in manuscript B read manuscript B in Persia. But it's we don't know. There's no name on it. But it's very interesting to see how manuscript B is on its own, and manuscript A, D, and the marginal notes are from the same family.
Yeah.
And all this came to our knowledge because of the discovery of one leaf in 2007.
Wow.
It's amazing.
But I'm not an expert on proving that things are so. Maar goed. Now about my text edition, want you asked about my text edition. I decided to make a text edition because till then, there was no book in which you could find the different manuscripts. How do you say it? One to each other.
Yeah.
Successive to each other. Yeah. Something.
Yeah. And also, text editions before 2000 printed the Hebrew text colummetrically, just as in Manuscript B. But Manuscript B is the only manuscript, and Masada scroll too, where the text has been written in 2 columns. And Manuscript A, C, D, E, and F is continuous.
Right.
But I had to find a system to indicate that. Therefore, you find in my text edition slash where the end of the page. You have to find it, but that's the only way I could do it, because I had to print it as a continuing text. And slash is where the end of the verse is. And a synopsis. There was no synopsis of all those manuscripts. It was very hard to compare one another, because in the text editions you had one text chosen as the main text, and then with all footnotes indicate the differences with another manuscript or manuscripts. And therefore you had no idea of how those other manuscripts looked, because you had only some words in a footnote and so on. And therefore I made a synopsis of all those manuscripts.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that you did this work. I imagine it was a lot of work between you as well as the publisher, because this book is one of the most unique books you'll ever open, right? Like, you don't just read it only, left to right. You'll flip up your book, and we'll show some images a little bit later for those on YouTube.
But the publisher had only to print it. Well, it was a camera ready. The camera ready text to the
Excellent. Yeah, you did all the work.
Never do it. Awful. Yeah.
That's great.
It's great. Yeah. It's amazing having a Hebrew text where we can actually see the special marginal notes and the intentionality of the columns. And I think this is important, because when we want to represent manuscripts, we should do it as the manuscript is laid out itself. And not to get into a rabbit hole here, but it's interesting even how Biblia Hebraica over the decades has made different changes to what the manuscript is, whether changing the column format, because famously you have the 2 versus 3 column formats of some of the different books.
Habakkuk, for instance.
Right.
The Book of Habakkuk is, for instance, is in Kittel, otherwise printed than in Stuttgart. Stuttgart edition. And so on.
So anyway, I'm anyone who is like team all about, let's make sure we present the manuscripts as they are to the best of our ability. I love it. So very thankful for your work.